I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, October the 6th, brought to you in part by Showlists. Your show list plunged this week, and I don't know if you guys have heard before, but I don't take a whole lot of stock in show lists because I don't know why any self-respecting feedlot would tell folks exactly what they have on the list to sell each week, but there's some different entities that put it together, and it gets put out there pretty vastly, and I saw it for this week, but they have a lot lighter show lists around, and we have had pretty significant cash sales for the last couple 3 weeks here, and we've seen a lot of formulated sales and a lot of cattle been moving, and these packers have been pretty aggressive. We've gained $6 cash in the last 3 weeks, so it could be true. Maybe we are moving them through there, but our weights are still pretty big, although they've kind of leveled out here on our last actual market information on slaughter. And so maybe we are starting to get ahead, or at least kind of catch up a little bit. But it's a good sign no matter what. But out here in the great Northwest, and had a big day on Monday, traveling around the country with my friend Kurt Martin from North Powder, Oregon, and he took me on a big tour on Monday and moved around. We had a good meeting there. I gave a presentation to a pretty good sized group of folks at Seven Rivers Livestock Commission in Emmett, Idaho. They've got a big sale coming up here on Tuesday with around 1,500 head, which is an awful good offering, mostly calves, and in a market that's close. It's that close to Boise, Idaho. But I tell you what, they'll have a lot of good top quality calves there at Seven Rivers for Tuesday. Tuesday night, going to be down in Twin Falls, Idaho, for another presentation down there for the Billingtons, and looking forward to headed down there. Be back out here out west coming up next week, getting ready for the big Ranchers for Trump rally at Nevada Livestock Marketing for Jack Payne in Fallon, Nevada. If you guys are anywhere close, you got to be coming to that deal because it's going to be a great event. But Monday was your last day to comment, and I know I'm telling you too late, but I've been preaching it for the last several weeks. But Monday was the last day to comment on the mandatory RFID tags. We'll see whether or not they end up cramming that down our throat or not, but I've told you before, I hate to see that coming because I think it's going to force more of your smaller producers, especially in the southeast and places where they got small cow herds and people that don't have the best of facilities, and older folks running those cow-calf operations. It's going to likely force them out if they end up cramming that down our throat, and that's something that we don't want to happen. But look at the board on Monday. Your October live cattle futures were up 65 cents at 108.82. December was up 65 cents at 111.75. Going out from there was up 27 cents to up 50 cents, so on the positive side. October feeder cattle up 15 cents on Monday at 140.05. November up a nickel at 139.92, and just not a lot of activity in your feeder cattle futures after kind of a volatile week that we saw a week ago. But going out fronts on your feeder cattle, they were up 12 cents to up 85 cents, and that was on your farthest out traded month of September of 21. Weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle trade in your 5-area feeding region was 101,500 head. Anytime we get over 100,000, we consider that a victory. You compare that to the previous week, it was 103,200, and then the same week a year ago was 78,800 head. But look at your live sales and steers and heifers range from 103 to 109, but mostly at 107. Weighted average on live steers, $2 higher for the most part at 107.12, and that weighted average price was up $2.07 from the previous week's weighted average. Dressed steers and heifers from 165 to 169 last week, mostly 167 to, for the most part, 168, and your dressed steer weighted average was mostly $3 higher at 167.70. That weighted average price was $2.81 higher than the weighted average from the previous week on dressed steers. Nationwide sold 125,600 head cash, which seems pretty significant till you look to formulated sales last week. 290,600 head formulated, but of your cash sales, 37,500 or about 30% were the 15 to 30 day delivery period, and that's a little bigger than what we typically see. But for the second week in a row, I think maybe they were buying more of those cattle out front because they think that the market is going to be higher. And I think we'll gain some ground this week and continue to do so as long as guys keep digging in. Didn't sell anything on Monday, not expecting anything Tuesday, but if they'll hold off till later in the week, that's a good thing. Negotiated grid price, and people keep touting that, but it's stayed pretty much the same right through. Only 21,900 head negotiated grid last week. Feeder cattle markets, real-time index on DV auction late in the day on Monday at $142 even. That's down a nickel, or pretty much steady compared to the end of last week. And you saw your big high volume sales on Monday were unevenly steady. Both Oklahoma City and Joplin were unevenly steady on feeder steers. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma National Stockyard, 6,100 head on Monday. Like I said, feeder steers were unevenly steady. Feeder heifers $1 to $4 higher. Steer calves steady to $3 lower. Heifer calves $2 to $5 higher. It was just kind of a uneven deal there, but we hang our hat on the feeder steers and they are unevenly steady. We're starting to see more and more calves even in our big feeder cattle markets. The percentage of the total run in Oklahoma City that weighed over 600 pounds was only 65%, and sometimes we see that up around 90%. So we're starting to see more and more calves come through. Joplin Regional Stockyards kind of had, other than feeder steers, which were unevenly steady there on your yearling feeder steers, we saw almost opposite trends. So that just kind of tells you that the market's just kind of uneven right in there. But steer calves steady to $4 higher. Your heifers, for the most part, were weak to $5 lower, except for peewee heifers. They had a hole in them, just not anybody there pushing on them, and they were sharply lower on your peewee heifers. You remember, if you're consigning your cattle to Joplin, they have that commingle deal available, so you can bring your cattle in before 5 o'clock on Sunday. They'll throw them together with light cattle from other small producers, and you can sell them in larger bunches, which I've told you many times makes the biggest difference in your price is the lot size. So you want to get as many of those put together as you can, and you guys in the 4-state area want to take advantage of the commingled program at Joplin Regional Stockyards. In Joplin, the percent of the total feeder cattle over 600 pounds were 59%, and then a lot of those weights over 600 pounds would have been calves too there in Oklahoma City both, but we're just starting to see more and more calves all the time. And your biggest quotes, most impressive quotes, are starting to be more calves. How about Torrington livestock markets? Torrington, Wyoming, 76 head, 477 pound steer calves bring $194. Impressive. But your top quotes that I saw on Monday come out of Callaway Livestock Center, Kingdom City, Missouri. Some big calves sold, impressive there. 59 head of 687 pound steer calves bring $158.75. And then some well backgrounded but fairly green yearling steers there. Jack had 122 head in there, weighed 792 at 147 1/4. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.